The Forgotten Defender. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the viewport of Orbital Station 7, gazing at the ancient warship docked in the maintenance bay. The vessel's hull was scarred with patches and repairs, its once sleek lines now appearing clunky and obsolete next to the gleaming alien-inspired ships that dominated Earth's defense fleet. The UEA's Endurance, Admiral Zhang said, coming to stand beside her. Commissioned 30 years ago, before first contact, one of the last purely human-designed warships we ever built. Elena turned to face her superior officer. With all due respect, Admiral, why assign me to a museum piece? I was expecting the Horizon, or at least something built this decade. The Admiral's expression remained impassive. The Galactic Conclave has requested a human vessel for their upcoming diplomatic tour. They specifically asked for an example of our pre-contact military technology. So we're sending them a relic to laugh at, Elena said, unable to keep the bitterness from her voice. Captain Reyes, Admiral Zhang's tone sharpened. Since joining the Conclave 15 years ago, humanity has benefited immensely from alien technology and protection. But we're still viewed as the newcomers, the primitive species that barely survived their first interstellar war. This mission is about more than showing off an old ship. It's about representing Earth with dignity, regardless of how technologically inferior we might appear. Elena straightened. Understood. Admiral, when do I depart? 2 days. Your crew has been selected. A mixture of veterans who served on similar ships and younger officers who need the diplomatic experience. The Admiral handed her a tablet. The Endurance may be old, but she's been maintained. Don't let her appearance fool you. As Elena reviewed the mission details, she couldn't help feeling like she'd drawn the short straw. 6 stops at different Conclave worlds, showcasing human engineering to species that had mastered faster-than-light travel millennia before humans had even reached their own moon. 2 days later, Elena stood on the bridge of the Endurance, surveying her new command. Despite the ship's age, the bridge was spotless, displays glowing with a warm amber light that contrasted with the cool blue interfaces of modern vessels. Captain on deck, announced her XO, Commander Ortiz, a veteran with silver-streaked hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. At ease, Elena said, moving to the captain's chair, a utilitarian design without the neural interfaces of newer models. Status report. All systems operational, Captain, Ortiz replied. Pre-flight checks complete. We're cleared for departure in 30 minutes. Elena nodded. Commence final preparations. I'll be touring the ship. The Endurance was both familiar and strange to Elena. She'd studied vessels of this era at the Academy, but walking through one was different from simulations. The ship felt solid in a way modern vessels didn't, built with thicker bulkheads and redundant systems, designed to take punishment rather than avoid it entirely. As she reached engineering, she found Chief Engineer Maya Wong deep in an access panel, surrounded by tools. Chief Wong, Elena called. How's our old girl doing? Wong emerged from the panel, wiping grease from her hands. Captain, she's running better than she has any right to. These older systems are overbuilt, less efficient but more durable, and easier to fix when they do break. Elena ran her hand along a conduit. Any surprises I should know about? Wong hesitated just long enough for Elena to notice. Nothing critical, ma'am. Just some quirks in the power distribution system. I've been mapping them out. Quirks. Elena raised an eyebrow. Power fluctuations in sections that should be dormant. Probably just degraded isolation in the older circuits. I'll have it sorted before we reach our first destination. Elena made a mental note to follow up later. Carry on, Chief. Their first destination was Caloria Prime, homeworld of the avian Calorians who specialized in propulsion technology. As the Endurance dropped out of FTL at the edge of the system, the view screen displayed 3 sleek Calorian escort vessels approaching. They're hailing us, Captain, reported Lieutenant Park at Communications. On screen, Elena ordered, straightening her uniform. The screen filled with the image of a Calorian commander, feathered crest rising elegantly above golden eyes that regarded Alina with barely concealed amusement. "Captain Rise of Earth," the Kilorian said, their translator rendering the musical language into standard. "Welcome to Caloria Prime. We are most interested in examining your historical vessel." "Commander Trell," Alina replied, recognizing the insignia. "The UES Endurance is honored by your welcome. We look forward to sharing Earth's engineering heritage with our Kilorian allies." The docking procedure at the massive Kilorian orbital station was humiliating. Engineers and scientists gathered at viewing platforms, pointing and chattering as the Endurance maneuvered into position. Alina maintained her composure as she led her senior staff down the boarding ramp to meet the Kilorian delegation. Captain Reyes greeted Science Minister Vala, her feathers shimmering in iridescent blues and greens. "We are fascinated by the opportunity to study such a primitive warship. It's remarkable you managed interplanetary travel with such technology." Alina forced a smile. The Endurance was state-of-the-art for her time, Minister. She may lack the refinement of Kilorian designs, but she's reliable and battle-tested. "Yes, of course," Vala replied with a sound that the translator rendered as polite laughter. "We've prepared a full schedule of examinations and presentations. Our engineers are particularly eager to study your, what do you call them?" "Chemical rockets." "Fusion drives," Alina corrected, maintaining her diplomatic smile. The Endurance was never equipped with chemical propulsion. The tour of the ship was excruciating. Kilorian experts openly scoffed at the Endurance's propulsion systems, weapons arrays, and life support. One scientist actually patted the hull condescendingly. "It's remarkable you survived first contact with such limited defenses," the scientist said, mandibles clicking. "Truly, humans are resourceful." Through it all, Alina maintained her composure, though she noticed Commander Ortiz's jaw tightening and Chief Wong becoming increasingly irritated. Only their conclave liaison, Officer Zenith, seemed unbothered, explaining human design philosophy with endless patience. That evening at the formal reception, Alina stood with a glass of something like wine, watching Kilorian officials mingle with her crew. The conversation nearby drifted to her ears. "Their shield technology is practically non-existent," one Kilorian engineer was saying. "And their weapons systems, kinetic projectiles, like throwing rocks in space." Alina set down her glass and slipped away, finding herself drawn back to the Endurance. The ship was quiet, with most of the crew at the reception. She made her way to engineering, where she found Chief Wong hunched over a console. "I thought you'd be enjoying the party, Chief," Alina said. Wong didn't look up. "Couldn't stomach any more condescension, Captain. Besides, I wanted to check something. The power fluctuations." Wong nodded. "I've isolated them to specific sections throughout the ship. Sections that don't appear on any schematic." Alina frowned. "Show me." Wong brought up a three-dimensional model of the Endurance, highlighting areas between decks, behind bulkheads, and wrapped around critical systems. "These spaces shouldn't exist, Captain. They're not on the official blueprints, but scans confirm they're there." "Have you accessed any of them?" "Just one." Wong led Alina to what appeared to be a standard maintenance panel. She pressed her palm against it in a specific pattern, and the panel slid aside, revealing a narrow passage. The hidden compartment beyond was unlike anything Alina had seen on the ship. While the rest of the Endurance was utilitarian and analog, this space contained sleek interfaces and unfamiliar technology that looked more advanced than even current conclave designs. "What is this?" Alina asked, running her hand over a smooth, dark console. "I'm not entirely sure," Wong admitted, "but I found references in the ship's classified archives to something called Project Oracle, an experimental program that was officially terminated before the Endurance was commissioned." "Officially terminated," Alina repeated, "but unofficially." "I think they installed the technology anyway, Captain. Hidden it throughout the ship." Wong tapped a sequence on the console, and holographic displays flickered to life, showing systems Elena didn't recognize. From what I can gather, these are adaptive defense systems far beyond what we had 30 years ago, possibly beyond what we have now. Elena studied the displays. How did we develop this technology before first contact? That's the thing, Captain. Wong pulled up a file on the screen. According to this, we didn't develop it. We reverse engineered it from something that crashed in the Pacific Ocean 40 years ago. Something not from Earth. Before Elena could respond, her comm beeped. "Captain, to the bridge," came Commander Ortiz's voice, tense with urgency. "We're receiving a distress signal." When Elena reached the bridge, Officer Zenith was already there, their 4 arms manipulating the communications array with practiced efficiency. "Report," Elena ordered, taking her seat. "Distress call from a Conclave research vessel near the Kelleran Nebula," Ortiz explained. "They report being attacked by unknown forces. The Kellorians are dispatching response ships," added Zenith. "But we're actually closer. They've requested our assistance as well." Elena considered the situation. The Endurance was outdated by Conclave standards, but it was still a warship. Set course for the coordinates. Maximum speed. As they prepared to depart, Science Minister Vala's image appeared on the view screen. "Captain Rice, while we appreciate your enthusiasm, perhaps it would be best if you remained here. Your vessel is hardly equipped for combat by modern standards." Elena felt her spine stiffen. "Minister, with all due respect, the Endurance may be old, but she's a warship, and those researchers need help. We're answering the call." Without waiting for a response, Elena nodded to Ortiz. "Take us out." As the Endurance broke orbit and accelerated toward the distress signal, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into something far more significant than a simple rescue mission. And for the first time since taking command, she felt a fierce pride in her obsolete ship and what it might yet prove capable of. Awakening the Guardian. The Endurance dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Kelleran Nebula, its sensors immediately picking up the distress beacon from the research vessel. The view screen showed the elegant Conclave science ship listing to one side, its hull breached in multiple places. More concerning were the 3 unknown vessels surrounding it. Angular, predatory ships that bore no resemblance to any known Conclave design. "Scan those ships," Elena ordered. "What are we dealing with?" Lieutenant Park's fingers flew over his console. "Unknown configuration, Captain. No match in our database or the Conclave registry. They're heavily armed, energy weapons primarily. No life signs I can detect, but their shielding might be blocking our scans." "Hail the research vessel," Elena commanded. After a moment of static, a desperate voice came through. "This is Science Director Lon of the Conclave vessel Seeker. We're under attack. Our engines are disabled, life support failing. 14 crew members still alive, but we need immediate evacuation." "Director Lon, this is Captain Rice of the Earth ship Endurance. We're moving to assist. Can you identify your attackers?" "Negative. They appeared without warning. Their technology is unlike anything." The transmission cut off abruptly. "They're jamming communications," Park reported. "The unknown vessels have detected us. They're breaking off their attack on the Seeker and moving to intercept." Elena assessed the situation rapidly. The Endurance was outgunned and outclassed by these unknown vessels. Conventional tactics would lead to their destruction. "Chief Wong," she called over the comm. "Those systems we discussed, could they be operational?" "Theoretically, yes," Wong's voice came back, tense with excitement. "But I can't guarantee what will happen if we activate them." Elena made her decision. "Begin activation sequence. Commander Ortiz, set intercept course for the Seeker. We're going to position ourselves between them and those attackers." "Captain," Officer Zenith interjected, "the Endurance cannot withstand an assault from those vessels. The Kellorian response ships will arrive in approximately 20 minutes. I suggest we maintain distance until. In 20 minutes, everyone on that research vessel will be dead." Elena cut in. "We're going in. All hands to battle stations. As the Endurance moved toward the stricken research vessel, the three unknown ships adjusted course to intercept. Their sleek, predatory forms grew larger on the view screen. "They're charging weapons," Park warned. "Evasive maneuvers," Alina ordered. "Bring us in on a spiral approach. Deploy countermeasures." The Endurance rolled and pitched, its old engines straining as it dodged the first volley of energy weapons. Several blasts struck glancing blows, causing the ship to shudder. "Shields at 62%, reported Ortiz. "Conventional weapons online, but I doubt they'll make much impression on those hulls." Elena opened a channel to engineering. "Wong, we need those systems now." "Almost there, Captain," Wong replied, her voice partially drowned out by the sound of sparking electronics. "The Oracle systems are accepting the activation sequence. Power is building in the secondary grid." The Endurance took another hit, more direct this time. The lights flickered, and several consoles exploded in showers of sparks. "Shields at 31%, Ortiz called out. "One more direct hit, and they're gone." Elena gripped the arms of her chair. "All power to forward shields. Maintain course." The ship shuddered again as another energy beam struck. Warning klaxons blared across the bridge. "Shields failing," Ortiz shouted. "Direct hit to our starboard engine housing. We've lost maneuverability." The three attacking vessels closed in, circling the Endurance like wolves around wounded prey. On the view screen, Alina could see their weapon ports glowing with building energy. "They're preparing to finish us," Park said quietly. In that moment, the lights on the bridge dimmed, then shifted to a deep purple hue. New interfaces appeared, overlaying the conventional displays with holographic projections, unlike anything Alina had seen before. "Oracle systems online." Wong's voice came through, filled with wonder. "Captain, the ship is changing." Alina felt it, a subtle vibration running through the deck plates, different from the normal hum of the engines. The new displays showed the Endurance's hidden systems activating, spreading throughout the ship like a awakening nervous system. "What's happening?" Ortiz demanded, staring at his console as new data streamed across it. Before anyone could answer, one of the attacking vessels fired. The energy beam lanced toward the Endurance, but instead of impact, the beam seemed to bend around the ship, dispersing harmlessly into space. "Phase shift defense field activated," announced an unfamiliar voice from the ship's speakers. Synthetic, yet oddly human. "Adaptive countermeasures deploying. Threat assessment complete." "The ship is talking," Park whispered. "Not the ship," Wong's voice came through. "It's the Oracle system. It's alive." Elena watched in amazement as new weapon ports opened along the Endurance's hull, ports that hadn't existed minutes before. Energy gathered at these points, coalescent and pulsing. "Target locked," the Oracle system announced. "Initiating response." Beams of coherent energy erupted from the Endurance, striking one of the attacking vessels with surgical precision. Instead of explosions, the energy seemed to phase through the enemy shields, directly affecting critical systems. The vessel's lights flickered and died, leaving it drifting powerlessly. The other two ships immediately changed tactics, attempting to flee. The Endurance's new systems responded instantly, deploying what appeared to be spatial anchors, localized gravitational fields that prevented the enemy vessels from engaging their drive systems. "Oracle system has analyzed enemy technology," the synthetic voice reported. "Countermeasures deployed. Threat contained." Elena found her voice. "Can we communicate with the attackers?" "Negative. No organic life forms detected on enemy vessels. Analysis indicates autonomous combat platforms." "Drones?" Ortiz asked, incredulous. "Those are drone ships." "Advanced autonomous weapons," the Oracle system corrected, utilizing technology consistent with precursor artifacts. Elena exchanged glances with Officer Zenith, whose normally impassive face showed clear shock. Precursors was the conclave term for a mysterious ancient civilization whose artifacts occasionally surfaced throughout the galaxy. The research vessel, Elena remembered suddenly. Status of the Seeker. Conclave vessel sustaining critical damage. The Oracle responded. Life support failing. 14 life signs detected, weakening. Can we stabilize them remotely? Affirmative. Deploying emergency field extension. Through the view screen, Elena watched as a shimmering field extended from the Endurance, enveloping the damaged research vessel. The Seeker's erratic power signatures stabilized, and emergency lights began to function again. Kilorian response vessels approaching, Park reported. ETA 3 minutes. Oracle. Elena addressed the system directly. Can you conceal your advanced capabilities from conclave scans? There was a pause. Affirmative. Systems can enter dormant state while maintaining critical functions. Recommended course of action. Elena considered her options. The truth about the Endurance would change humanity's standing in the conclave overnight, but it might also make Earth a target. The Oracle technology was clearly beyond anything the conclave possessed. Maintain life support extension to the Seeker. Disable the remaining enemy vessels but preserve them for study. Then gradually power down non-essential Oracle systems before the Kilorian ships arrive. Let's keep our full capabilities classified for now. By the time the Kilorian vessels arrived, the Endurance appeared much as it had before. An outdated human warship that had somehow managed to disable 3 advanced enemy vessels and save a conclave research team. The Oracle systems had receded, hiding once again within the ship's structure, leaving only conventional readings for the Kilorians to detect. Science Minister Vala herself led the response team, her earlier condescension replaced by bewilderment as she surveyed the disabled enemy ships. This is impossible, she said, reviewing the sensor data. How did your primitive vessel defeat these attackers? Our preliminary scans show technology far beyond current conclave capabilities. Elena maintained a neutral expression. We got lucky, Minister. The Endurance may be old, but she's tough. We managed to find a vulnerability in their targeting systems and exploited it. Vala's feathered crest rose in what Elena had learned was an expression of skepticism. Luck seems an inadequate explanation, Captain. Sometimes that's all we humans have, Elena replied. That and the determination not to abandon those who need help. In the following days, as the Endurance continued its diplomatic tour, Elena noticed a marked change in how the conclave species treated her ship and crew. The mockery had been replaced by curious respect, and sometimes she caught alien engineers studying the Endurance with newfound interest, as if trying to discern its secrets. In her private quarters, Elena reviewed Chief Wang's latest report on the Oracle systems. The technology was even more advanced than they had initially realized, not merely reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship, but somehow evolved beyond its original design, as if it had been learning and adapting during its decades of dormancy. We've only scratched the surface of what the Endurance can do, Wang had written. The Oracle seems to be a true artificial intelligence, but one created with principles we don't yet understand. It's chosen to work with us, not just for us. As if sensing her thoughts, a holographic interface appeared on her desk, the Oracle system initiating contact. You have questions, Captain, the synthetic voice stated. Elena nodded. Many. What are you really? Why were you hidden on this ship? I am Oracle. Created from the synthesis of human innovation and technology recovered from what you term first contact. Your ancestors recognized that humanity would face threats beyond your technological capability to counter. I was their solution, a guardian to be awakened when needed. But why keep you secret, even from our own people? The holographic interface shifted, displaying historical images from Earth's past. Your history demonstrates that technological leaps often outpace ethical frameworks. Your ancestors feared premature deployment. I was designed to awaken only when humanity had achieved sufficient maturity and faced genuine existential threat. Elena considered this. And now, what happens now that you're awake? That decision belongs to you, Captain. I can return to dormancy until needed again. or I can remain active, though concealed, assisting the Endurance in its mission. Elena thought about the Conclave, about humanity's place in the galactic community, and about the unknown threats that lurked in the darkness between stars. The ancient warship that had seemed like a punishment to command now represented something far more significant, a bridge between humanity's past ingenuity and its future potential. Stay active, she decided, but remain our secret for now. There's more to this mission than diplomatic tours, isn't there? Those attackers weren't random. They targeted a Conclave research vessel studying precursor artifacts. Correct, Captain. The autonomous vessels match patterns consistent with Guardian systems, left by the precursors to protect certain technologies. The Conclave's research may have triggered defensive protocols. Elena leaned back in her chair. Then we need to understand what they were researching, and why these Guardians responded so aggressively. As the Endurance continued its journey through Conclave space, Elena knew that their mission had fundamentally changed. They were no longer simply representing Earth's past. They were potentially safeguarding its future, and the old warship that had been an object of mockery now carried within it secrets that could reshape the balance of power throughout the galaxy. The ancient defender had awakened, and the cosmos would never be the same.